Some strange-looking boats, our small group is gathering to begin a cruise on the river. There is more excitement than there would be for the usual summer's day fun, for this is not an ordinary cruise, and this is not an ordinary river. We'll make this trip on giant rubber rafts made from Army bridge pontoons. We'll need more than a few sandwiches because this trip will take some 8 to 10 days and cover 280 miles through some of the wildest country left in America. The experienced boatmen of the Colorado River and Trail Expeditions Company talk over the problems of navigating whitewater, where the Colorado River passes through the world's largest and deepest canyon. The excitement grows as we are shown how to put on our life jackets to begin our Grand Canyon adventure. The river is calm where we leave Lee's Ferry, Arizona. But as we approach the first rapids, we sympathize with Major John Wesley Powell, the one-armed Civil War veteran who, with 5 other men, was the first to pass through the canyon in 1869. Powell wrote in his diary, "This morning we are ready to enter the mysterious canyon and start with some anxiety, but we are eager for the trial, and off we go." We soon discover Major Powell had reason for anxiety. This first rough water, just 8 miles inside the canyon, is called Badger Creek Rapids. Like all rapids, it is rated on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the most fearsome. This rapids is rated 3 to 4, a very tame rating for the Grand Canyon. We ask ourselves, if this is 3 to 4, what will 7 to 8 be like? This is the beginning of the longest stretch of white water in the world. There are over 160 rapids on this river between Lee's Ferry and Pierce Ferry. The native Indians had a great fear of the river that roared through the canyon. A Navajo legend had it that after a great flood, the waters drained from the world through a hole in the bottom of the canyon, and that the river still fell through that same hole. At this moment, it's a tale easy for us to believe. There are intervals of quiet water, but we are rarely out of sound of the next rapids. Some rapids, like Soap Creek, House Rock, or 75-mile rapids, are named after geographical features or distances downriver. Others, like President Harding or Hance Rapids, are named for famous men or canyon explorers. And still others take Indian names like Nankowee and Matkatamiba. After a day of shooting the thundering rapids, we are happy to come ashore. A fire is built out of driftwood. Everything we need, except the pure water of the river and firewood, is carried in and carried out. The boatmen of the Colorado River and Trail Expeditions have a passion for leaving the canyon exactly as if they had never passed through. Even the cooking fire is built on a steel pan to keep the beach clean of ashes. The fresh air, cold water, the hot sun, the energy used in clinging to the pitching rafts builds tremendous appetites. The call of "come and get" is a welcome one. Welcome, too, is a chance to talk to our comrades in adventure, to compare impressions of our first day on the river. We reach the junction of the Little Colorado River. This is where we enter Grand Canyon National Park. There is time, too, for relaxation, for absorbing the solitude and magnificence of the canyon. Even though the water of the river flowing from deep behind Powell Dam is too cold for comfortable swimming, it is pleasant to lay in the hot sun of the Southwest. By now, we have learned how to help the boatmen pack up. Everything must be put in waterproof bags and securely tied down for the trips through the pitching water of the rapids. These have to be good knots, or all will be lost. There are no neighborhood stores in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. You take care of what you have, or you do without. Large insulated cases are used to keep meat and perishables fresh for the whole journey. Even large cases have to be firmly tied to the raft. Everybody makes sure they have their life jackets on securely. Because of these, the canyon trip is quite safe. Still, we gain a good deal of respect for Bill Beer and John Daggett, who in 1955 floated the whole 280 miles without rafts or boats, just life jackets. The view of the Grand Canyon from the bottom gives quite a different impression than the feeling of vast space when we view it from the rim. Here we feel closed in. We sense that we are a mile deep within the crust of the earth, and it is awesome to realize that we pass between walls of rock, like this dark Vishnu schist patterned with pink granite. Rock that is 2 billion years old, half as old as the earth itself. We feel an odd sense of excitement as we approach the Kaibab Suspension Bridge. This narrow footbridge, the only bridge across the Colorado for 350 miles, allows hikers to cross the river as they walk from one rim of the canyon to the other. This is the only man-made thing, other than our own boats and equipment, that we'll see on our whole trip. We are never out of the sound of the river. Even at our ease, the sound is with us. It puts us to sleep at night and wakes us at dawn. Luna B. Leopold, a scientist who did a survey of the river, wrote, "In the dry glare of a sun-drenched afternoon, in the bitter chill of a thunderstorm wind, or in the purple evening, there is no respite from the incessant boom of the great river. The sound is associated with a pervasive uneasiness which never leaves a man while he is clamped within the cliffs of the canyon." The crew studies all major rapids from the shore before attempting them. There will be a change with each difference in water level. A rapids will be radically altered, or even new rapids will be formed when flash floods in feeder creeks sweep boulders into the main stream. Certain that they understand the situation, the boatmen wave for us to get back on board. This rapids is rated at 5 to 6. That is, it is considered to be of only middling difficulty. Even in this relatively easy rapids, our 30-foot boat is tossed like a cork. We are more than happy that the boatman, steering from the rear of the pontoon, knows what he is doing. As we look back toward the stern, we can see that our boatman has to stand up to see the water ahead of him. This must be a little bit like trying to stand up on the back of a bucking bronco, but the boatman's concentration on the white water ahead of us never wavers. For a few miles, the river is placid as we motor toward the next stretch of rapids. But soon, we begin to button up our waterproof clothing when we hear the roar of the rapids that are still 2 miles away. Again, we feel our anxiety grow. There's the rapids. Rapids like these, there are standing waves 30 feet high. These are pillars of churning water that stay in the same place relative to the shore. A wave this size can flip over our raft as easily as a child can capsize its rubber duck. Here, the river is narrow. A great deal of water is going to be jammed through a small space. From the rim, we wonder how the Colorado could have carved such an immense canyon in even 10 million years. As As we feel the power of the river on our raft, we begin to understand how all rock will yield to rushing water. This is breathtaking sport, a thrill known to few men and women. Incidentally, the black bags flying from the stern of the raft are used to cool our favorite beverages. Ahead is Lava Falls Rapids, the most fearsome in the Grand Canyon. This rapids is rated as 10+, meaning it's nearly impassable. It is one of the last major rapids in the canyon and the most exciting. As we near the end of our journey, we realize that we've enjoyed a unique experience. We've had a close-up view of the very structure of the earth, and we've come to know nature better. We are disturbed to recall that some men again are making plans to dam this river, to flood the floor of the Grand Canyon, to turn the wild Colorado into a series of tame ponds. But we have lived a great adventure. And for the rest of our days, we'll feel the pitch of the river and hear the roar of the rapids in our memory.